When we talk about AI in our jobs, the conversation almost always lands on one big question, right? Is a robot going to take my job? But the reality, it's so much more interesting than that. It's not some single tidal wave that's going to hit everybody at once. No, it's more like a complex ripple effect. And today, we are going to break down exactly how those ripples are changing jobs at every single level of a company, from the front lines all the way up to the C-suite.
Okay, just a quick heads up before we really get into it. This is part 2 of a 9-part explainer, and it's all based on a really deep research report from Virtualization Options LLC. So naturally, we're just scratching the surface here. But what we are going to cover is absolutely fascinating. So here's what we've got on tap today. We're going to start with the big picture, that ripple effect I mentioned. Then we're going to climb the corporate ladder, starting on the front lines, then moving to what's called the squeezed middle, and finally getting the view from the very top. And to wrap it all up, we'll look at a universal anxiety that, believe it or not, connects every single person.
Right, so let's set the scene. It's so important to get this. AI isn't some blanket force that affects everyone the same way. Think of it more like a wave that hits different parts of a company differently, creating this cascade of totally unique challenges and opportunities at every single level. Okay, let's start where the rubber really meets the road, on the front lines. This is where you see the impact of AI in the most direct, most visible way. This is where task automation and role evolution are clashing and combining every single day. This slide here, it really captures the two sides of the coin for frontline workers. It's not just about jobs disappearing, it's about jobs changing. As AI takes over the routine, repetitive stuff, the value of the human worker is shifting. It's shifting towards the things machines just can't do, handling weird exceptions, keeping an eye on the new tech, and creating a genuinely amazing customer experience. And listen, this isn't just a theory. Their research points to real-world examples with major retailers. When they first brought in AI for inventory, of course people were scared. They feared for their jobs. But what actually happened? Their roles evolved. They became problem solvers, tech monitors, and customer service experts. So the big takeaway here is that for so many people, it's not about replacement, it's about reskilling for a whole new kind of work. So if frontline roles are evolving like that, what in the world does that mean for their bosses? For mid-level managers, the AI story is less about tasks and more about a whole new kind of pressure. They are literally caught in the middle, feeling the squeeze from the top and from their teams below. This source material uses this phrase, and it is just perfect. It calls them change agents and anxiety managers. I mean, how spot on is that? They're supposed to be pushing this new AI tech forward, while at the same time, they have to be the emotional shock absorbers for their anxious teams. It's a hugely demanding dual role. To pull this off, managers need a brand new toolkit. First, they can't just read the data. They have to interpret it to add that human context the algorithm misses. Second, they've got to focus on developing their team, finding that tricky balance between AI efficiency and human morale. And third, they need to be real change leaders, guiding their people through all the fear and the fog. Their value isn't just in managing tasks anymore, it's in managing transition. All right, let's climb one more rung and head up to the C-suite. For senior leaders, the challenge is totally different. It's not about specific tasks or team feelings. It's about massive, high-stakes strategic uncertainty. Their job is to steer the entire ship through a storm of technological change, and nobody has a map. And to deal with this uncertainty, a really powerful new idea is emerging: becoming an augmented learner. This is so much more than just using AI to be more efficient. It's about weaving AI into the very DNA of the company, creating this constant feedback loop that makes the entire organization smarter, faster, and way more responsive. Honestly, it's a total game changer. And here's the proof in the pudding. The research is crystal clear on this. Companies that actually become augmented learners, they run circles around the competition. They're more agile, they get products out the door faster, and they make smarter strategic moves. This is the competitive edge every leader is looking for right now. Okay, so we've seen the unique challenges at each level. Evolving roles on the front lines, that squeeze in the middle, the huge strategic questions at the top. You'd think they're worlds apart. But what's so fascinating is that underneath all these different pressures, there is one single powerful emotion that connects absolutely everyone: anxiety. The first layer of this anxiety is what the report calls identity disruption. Just think about that for a second. If the one skill that you built your career on, the thing that made you valuable,
can now be done by an AI in seconds? Who are you professionally speaking? It's a really deep, unsettling question.
Then there's competence anxiety. Oh man, we all know this feeling, don't we? It's that nagging sense that you just can't keep up. The technology is moving so fast, it feels like you're constantly falling behind, no matter how hard you try. It is exhausting. And all of this leads to the big one, future uncertainty. That classic career advice to have a 5-year plan, it's basically dead. When the entire landscape is shifting under your feet every couple of months, it's pretty much impossible to see a clear, stable path forward. And that loss of predictability is really rattling for all of us. And this slide, wow, this just ties our whole conversation together perfectly. It shows how that universal anxiety shows up differently depending on where you sit. For frontline workers, it's a very direct fear of losing their job and their income. For managers, it's that pressure cooker feeling, making them question their own value. And for senior leaders, it's the heavy burden of having to project total confidence in public while wrestling with huge doubts in private. It's the same anxiety, just wearing different masks.
So we have to end with this. The research makes it pretty clear that this feeling of uncertainty, it's not a temporary bug. It's the new operating system for our careers. It's the new reality we all share. And that leaves us with a really big question to think about. If that's true, what is our shared responsibility to ourselves, to our colleagues, and to our companies in learning how to navigate it together?